Okay, so hello everyone. First of all, thank you, Dr. Paul, for the kind invitation. It's a pleasure to be here speaking at a CMIP seminar. My name is Lucas, and I'm a PhD candidate in environmental engineering at the State University of Rio. Today, I'll be presenting our recently published article in MethodsX entitled "The Methodological Frame for DRIP, the Drought Representation Index for CMIP Model Performance." I'm also joined by my PhD co-supervisor, Dr. Alison from FUNSEMI, who will share some insights with us at the end of the session. This study presents the methodology behind the DRIP index, a tool designed to assess how well CMIP climate models simulate drought behavior, especially at the regional scale. Well, as you know, climate change is shifting precipitation patterns and increasing drought frequency and intensity in some regions, posing serious challenges for water management. And to support adaptation, we use GCMs to simulate future uh, climate scenarios. But there are still some gaps to accurately represent droughts at the regional scale due to uncertainties like coarse resolution, complex dynamics, and limited observations. So some studies apply drought indices to model projections, but few actually test how well these models simulate observed drought behavior. Most of them focus on mean precipitation or isolated metrics without selecting the best models for the task. And to address this gap, we developed DRIP, a simple and systematic framework to evaluate how well GCMs represent key drought characteristics. So DRIP stands for Drought Representation Index for CMIP Model Performance. And yes, DRIP is not just an acronym, it's also a bit of a wordplay. DRIP reminds us of water, something that's often missing or better trickling during droughts. So it fits the topic both technically and symbolically. Our goal with DRIP in our study was to create a simple quantitative index to evaluate how well climate models represent three key drought characteristics: duration, severity, and return period. And by applying DRIP, we can identify the best performing models for a given region, which helps us reduce uncertainty in drought projections. And beyond that, we use DRIP as a selection criterion to build more reliable model ensemble, which we call in this work eDRIP, or the DRIP ensemble. The implementation of DRIP and eDRIP is part of a broader methodology structured into 4 stages. Stages 3 and 4 represent the core innovations, while stages 1 and 2 cover foundational tasks such as data preparation and drought characterization. In stage 1, we gather monthly precipitation time series combining observed regional data and simulated data from CMIP GCMs, including both historical runs and future projections at the global scale. Once collected, the simulated data undergo downscaling to match the regional resolution, followed by bias correction to minimize systematic deviations. Multiple well-established techniques from the literature can be applied for these previous steps. Then, in stage 2, we use a standardized drought index to characterize drought conditions throughout the time series. And of stage 2, let's now take a closer look in drought event identification. Depending on the focus of the analysis, the drought index can vary. It may use only precipitation, such as the Standardized Precipitation Index, the SPI, or incorporate additional variables like evapotranspiration, as in SPEI, or even include hydrological data such as stream flow, like in the SRI. After generating the drought index time series, we apply a predefined threshold to detect drought onset and its termination. Once the drought events are identified, we then calculate their characteristics. Duration, one of its characteristics, refers to how long the drought index remains below this threshold. Severity is measured as the cumulative deficit during the event, essentially the area under the drought curve, as shown in the image. And the return period represents the average time between drought events. And this completes the necessary preparations to advance with the drip analysis in stages 3 and 4. As you may have noticed, the drip is a trivariate dimensionless index. The formula shows how we compare the model simulated averages for duration, severity, and return period against the observed data. And it penalizes deviations from observed values. So a drip score close to 1 indicates better model performance. In our study, we calculated drip scores for multiple CMIP6 models and used those scores to rank their performance for the study region. We then selected only the models with positive drip scores to create a new ensemble that we called eDrip. And to ensure transparency, we made all the R code used in this study publicly available in the published article. This includes scripts for SPI calculation, includes drought characterization, drip evaluation, and also eDrip construction. The evidence presented in this study comes from applying the methodology to the Paraíba do Sul river basin, located in southeast Brazil. This region is known for its high climatic uncertainty and low predictability. It serves as a critical water source for the country's two largest metropolitan areas, São Paulo and Rio. And in recent years, the basin has experienced severe droughts, making it a particularly relevant case for evaluating drought modeling. The effectiveness of DRIP is demonstrated through empirical comparisons of drought severity and duration, shown here using these orange, green, and gray box plots. We compared drought events identified from observed precipitation data with those simulated by models with the highest and lowest DRIP scores. The model with the highest DRIP score showed much stronger alignment with observed drought characteristics than the models with the lowest score. This comparison highlights that although DRIP evaluates models based on mean values of duration, severity, and return period, the ranking it produces also reflects differences in how well models capture the overall variability of drought conditions. Moving forward, building on DRIP's ability to rank climate models based on their performance, we also use the index to construct eDrip, an ensemble made up of the best performing models identified, selected to improve drought projections. To quantify its impact on uncertainty, we use the standard deviation of projected values for key drought characteristics. This analysis showed that DRIP reduced projection uncertainty by 63% when compared to a reference ensemble. This reference set, which includes all available CMIP6 models, regardless of how well they perform in droughts, is what we call CMIP. But it's important to emphasize that multiple sources of uncertainty affect climate projections. And in this study, we focused on the uncertainty related to the choice of climate model, which is recognized as the dominant source in long-term projection studies. Like any method, DRIP has some important limitations that are worthy mentioning. First, return period is represented by a single value for the entire time series, so variability across events cannot be assessed. Second, DRIP can only be applied to the historical period, since it relies on observed data for validation. And third, although it's possible, DRIP is currently limited to meteorological droughts using SPI, and it does not yet address agricultural or hydrological droughts, but this is possible. With that said, we see many opportunities for future work, like extend DRIP to other drought indices, such as SPEI or SRI, apply the method in other regions with diverse hydroclimatic conditions, and integrate DRIP with hydrological modeling and water system simulations to provide even more robust support for planning and decision making. To wrap up this content, DRIP offers a simple, transparent, and flexible approach to evaluate and select climate models for drought studies. And ultimately, it helps policymakers make more informed decisions about which models to rely on based on how well they simulate observed drought conditions. And now I will hand over to Dr. Allison, who will share some of his thoughts.
Is Alison there?
Allison, I can hear you.
Has he got problems with the sound? While we wait for Alison, I'll ask a question actually.
Do you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now, yeah.
Do you hear me? I'm sorry. So thank you, Lucas, and sorry for that problem, that microphone problem. So good afternoon, everybody. I'd like just to say a few words in these final minutes. So to summarize, DRIP introduced an innovative and flexible method for drought projection based on CMIP models. But the method hides a broader idea. Instead of evaluating models by their overall performance, we propose analyzing them based on the specific aspects that are more important to the problem at hand, in our case, drought projection. Actually, in water resources analysis, for example, different features of the projected series may be more or less important depending on the issue being addressed. For example, in drought analysis, the water deficits at different scales are key to explain the phenomena. But in flood analysis, it is the daily or sub-daily distribution of precipitation that is crucial. So this line of reasoning leads us to argue that CMIP models should not be evaluated using the same criteria when addressing different problems. This is the main idea I would like to share. Also, I think it's important to emphasize that this work is a collaboration between the State University of Rio de Janeiro, Federal University of Ceará, FUNSEMI, and Columbia University. Also, so I'd like to thank Professor Formiga, who coordinated this work and advised Lucas during the development of the paper. And finally, the insights that led us, that led to DRIP design stemmed from the experience of the GRC group for climatic risk management, led by Professor Assis Souza Filho, which have been producing knowledge in using CMIP models since 2007 through different phases of CMIP. Thank you, Professor. I would also like to thank European Space Agency for this opportunity to share our research. Thank you all. We are available for the questions.
Thank you. That was really interesting. Thanks very much. Has anyone got any questions? I did have a question actually, but you've kind of already answered it, because my question was more because this looks really interesting that you can use the historical observations to then compare the EDRIP to see whether it matches, whether the model, to basically choose which models are best representing that historical period. So then my question was leading on to that, which I think you've kind of already addressed, which is to then, that would be really useful then to be able to go maybe project forward with maybe more, like you said, like you're talking about hydrological data, to then be able to provide like policy support for, say, regional, I guess, like regional governments and like the cities of Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. So is that, if you want to plan for maybe trying to protect water supplies for something or something like that, or like to make sure that you don't end up in a drought situation. So is that the plan going forward, that you want to try to be able to provide like a kind of a policy instrument, as it were?
So yeah, I believe that the idea is exactly that. We want to provide some information for the policymakers to act in terms of droughts. I mean, you will not be able to predict droughts because it's not the main purpose of the projection. It's in the long-term analysis that we are interested in. So we believe that if you are able to project and to select models to project droughts for that region, policymakers in the region would be able, for example, to identify the strategies in terms of reservoir construction or adaptation measures to deal with that new condition that it's actually new in the region.